Lovely to have you here today, Bree. Do you think you could just start by introducing yourself and telling us what your role is?
Yeah, my name is Bree. I'm based out of Sydney, Australia, and I'm the head of customer growth for Checked In Care. So look after all things revenue, so sales, account management, marketing, specialising in Checked In Care.
And perhaps you could explain what Checked In Care is, what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So Checked In Care is a resident experience and self-service platform. What that actually means is we provide someone a single window to everything they need to manage their own care or support someone in care.
Lovely. So give us an idea of how long it's been going, how big it is, the breadth of
Yeah.
operations, that kind of thing.
Yep. So Checked In Care started in 2015, so officially over 10 years old now, almost a teenager, and started when our founder, John Perkins, had moved out of other sectors and realised that he was seeing this capacity for people to self-service, move into all other parts of the world, but it hadn't quite come into aged care. Everyone was still relying on a telephone 9 to 5, which any consumer knows is pretty frustrating with our modern lives. And so he started the platform to bring that convenience out into aged care. Since then, we have grown so far beyond that. Everything from family communications, so giving someone peace of mind as to what's going on, being able to view your schedule, change appointments, all the way up now to be able to purchase goods and services from third-party providers through the platform.
And have you found that there's been any resistance to the concept of maybe aged care residents being able to self-service? There's a little bit of a conception that, oh, only digital natives, those that have grown up with technology can do that. How are older people coping?
Well, I'll try to stay off my soapbox because this is something I get quite passionate about. If you look at data on the usage of technology by older Australians in particular, I don't have the same data for the UK and the US where we also operate. There is actually significant usage by older Australians of digital platforms. Now, no doubt some of that was pushed off, started more with COVID because a lot of people were at home and had to learn. Very different than previous generations. We kind of had a shove that forced everyone to start to use digital platforms. So we know that about 80% of older Australians are actually using things like the internet. So they are capable. Sometimes it's a bit slower, it takes a little bit of time. But for me, I can really see the change coming through residential aged care. So you're talking an individual who's normally considered fairly acute, heading towards end of life, where some of our providers who have just started to make the Checked In Care platform available to residents had never happened until last year. Was always that assumption that they weren't people who would use the platform. And we're seeing at some providers over 15% uptake, and that's happened in a really short space of time. So we know that the change is happening. If we talk home care, over 50% of our users are actually the care recipient themselves. So, yeah, not always digital natives, but certainly keen to learn when given the opportunity.
And what kinds of things are they using the platform to self-serve?
One is puzzles. Believe it or not, we have a puzzles function, like mind games, and that might be the first thing that gets someone on and curious, and then they start, playing, pushing some buttons, and doing some more. So if you're talking home care, so care in the home, often it's who's coming, when are they coming, why are they coming, changing the appointment, maybe wanting to get an additional session with the cleaner for a week, that type of thing. If we are talking retirement living, so independent community, it's all about connection. Maintenance is a big one, and gossip, gossiping between residents, sharing stories. And in residential aged care, it's regularly about sharing information back and forth with the family. Staying connected can be very isolating if you have family members away. Busy families can't always get in to visit. So just making sure they can stay in contact, see what's going on, and be socially engaged in the facility. So booking themselves into events or having staff help them perform that function.
Okay, that sounds really good. So we are sitting talking to each other, and we both had these Evaran backgrounds. Tell me about how Checked In Care got involved with the Evaran portfolio and how that's going.
Yeah, so we're still very fresh. It's only a couple of months in now. So we had actually worked with eCase for an extended period of time. We're talking residential aged care. eCase is one of Checked In Care's main integration partners. I think I have 6 or 7 projects going at the moment that kicked off before the partnership became official. So have always had a great working relationship and same view of the world, very much about making care easier to access. MOA as well, really significant and respected provider. We've always had a lot of respect for Lan and what he does and the insights he brings to the sector. And they really have changed quality. Quality is a tough job. Not everyone loves doing audits, getting feedback, but they've really changed the perspective and helped the sector step up. So we're honoured to be able to partner with people that just share the same view of wanting to make the world a better place. In terms of where to next, that concept of democratising your data and people having full insight as to what's going on in that continual care journey, for us, that's amazing. You know, Checked In Care brings, by being that window, means often we might access for a provider 5, 6 different systems. Being able to bring that continuity of data means a whole new world of insights and really improved client experience as well. It does smooth things over and they can see different parts of their journey all on the one place.
So while there's integration between Checked In Care and the other Evaran software providers, you, like MOA, are still going to be providing integration with other software providers, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. And that's because providers still have choice. Not every platform is perfect for every provider, and it's important that we continue to foster those relationships and give people what they need.
And what's the plan for growth outside of Australia for Checked In Care right now?
Yeah, so we do have a presence in North America at the moment, but the new exciting part is stepping into the UK. There is some nice continuity between Australia and the UK, of course. We have a few similar systems, but also with the UK and North America. So when it comes to home care, we're actually seeing a lot of similarities in how the providers are set up and the sort of functionality that they need. So super excited to step into the UK space and hopefully get to use my Irish passport to come over and say hello.
That would be great. So with Careline Live in the UK, and what I should say about Careline Live is that it is known in Australia and New Zealand as Evaran Home Care now, but in the UK we're Careline Live. So we have a friends and family portal, and my understanding of Checked In Care in relation to what we offer is Checked In Care is like our family and friends portal on steroids, just doing so much more. So very exciting to see us being able to offer more in the UK than we are able to at the moment.
Yeah, and you know, there are times where sometimes the current family portal is enough and does enough. But if you want to start to bring in a real richness of information, maybe connect through to a different finance platform, pull in more documents, share photos, all of those things, marketing, I guess, is the way to think about it, ways to promote your services as well. That's absolutely where Checked In Care can come into play. Also, the advantage of something called white labeling. So white labeling is when you can brand an app and a platform to your organisation. So particularly for bigger providers, and as people become more aware of the importance of marketing, like you and I do, given the roles that we're in, we are starting to see that be much higher value. I will point out white labeling is handy with an older demographic because it helps you overcome some of the resistance around trust, because they're logging into something that relates to the provider who they know and they're familiar with. So there's that familiarity for them as well.
That's great. And there's a way for home care providers to be monetizing Checked In Care, to talk very, very commercially there. Do you want to just share what that means?
So there's multiple ways that we can facilitate that through Checked In Care. So the first is helping people utilise more of the services you have on offer. And there's multiple ways we can deal with that, either through a function we call a request to service. So like I used the example before, an extra gardening session or a shopping session, maybe additional nursing session, they can request that through Checked in Care, goes through to the provider. We can also facilitate payment. So looking through, say, payment gateways, if it's a private pay service, for someone to be able to take care of that transaction themselves. And the new part of the platform that we're strategically moving towards is what we call B2B2C. So essentially building out almost a marketplace of trusted third-party providers that the provider can connect with via Checked in Care to really bring a richness of consumer experience. That might be partnering with consumables, assistive technology, lots of different options when we start to look at what's required depending on what part of the sector you're in.
And the service users themselves can purchase like this, or their friends and family can, and put a credit card in if need be as well, yeah?
If need be. So an example of how this may work in, say, residential aged care or the care home is I think of it as an extension of the hospital kiosk. So you used to be able to go in and grab some flowers and a balloon when you were going in to visit. That's what we see starting to have popularity when it comes to families purchasing, special events, gifts, Mother's Day, those types of things. But for the individual in the home, there may actually be something that they like to access that they can't get, or isn't offered by the facility. They don't want to stock it. That's where we have the potential then to look above and beyond.
And a seamless experience for them. They haven't got to negotiate a website they're unfamiliar with, one that perhaps may not be as secure. So it's a familiar environment offering trusted services and products to them, and they just click a button and they can purchase without having to find their credit cards and all the rest.
Depending on which pathway we take, and vetted as well. So if we are looking at a third-party provider, it'll be someone who we have a continuous relationship with to make sure that they actually tick those boxes.
So thinking about the different sectors, the different verticals that you're working in relation to health and social care, what are the functions that each are kind of honing in specifically to use?
It's a really good question. So we do see some sharing of functions, but there are definite characteristics that exist across each of the different sectors. So if we are talking retirement or independent living, it is about maintenance. That is an absolute key function. So lodging, something's broken, everyone hates chasing a trade. You can have the comms go back and forth the platform and see that as it processes. Really important. Also, their ability to communicate between residents. But a unique function for retirement living is events can be set up by the residents themselves. So where you've got that social committee and really independent community, they can manage that. So quite important, because you don't have big staff teams in that retirement space. Home care, it is very much around that schedule and things related to the services being delivered in the home. So the capacity to view your schedule, big one, but also request changes to that schedule. Cancel, move it forward, bring it back, potentially change the service. And I mentioned earlier the capacity to order additional goods and services as well. So rather than having to pick up the phone, you can do that through the app. In residential aged care, we have a function called What's Happening. For families, regardless of all the other shiny things that Checked in Care can do, it is such high value. The peace of mind of being able to see your family member engaged and happy is worth more than anything. Anyone who's been through that process knows it's a very stressful time. There can be a lot of guilt and challenging emotions involved. And early on admission, where staff can share photos back and forth just as someone's settling in, that's absolutely what is most important. But then you can get your newsletters and things through as well, just so that you stay connected with what's actually happening in the home. And with all of the platform, where families are disconnected like we often are in a modern life. I always use myself as an example. I'm in Adelaide, my sister's in Sweden, mum's somewhere else. if she were to go into care, we can actually connect and communicate from all over the world and still have input, which is the one unifier that goes across the entire platform.